Hi, you entrepreneurs out there. Today we have a very informative one. We have Julie Wolff. She is a family law attorney. She'll kind of go into the insights of what brought her into the business from the entertainment industry and now into family law, how she helps the youth out. It's a very informative one for anyone that might know kids, have kids, maybe has relatives that are the youth or just having family issues. Take a listen. Please subscribe. Please pass it on.
Welcome to the road to growth, success of an entrepreneur.
We've raised the bar.
Learn firsthand from successful business owners and create your own path to success.
I'm going to show you how great I am.
It's time to hit the road to growth with real estate agent Vinny SD.
We're here with Julie Wolff. Thank you for being here, family law attorney.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to be here.
So tell us a little about your practice.
Well, I do family law, which is divorce, child custody, child support, prenuptial agreements, things like that. And I also do juvenile dependency. Okay. Juvenile dependency it's a really small field, but what it entails is when child welfare investigates maybe that a parent maybe isn't suitable to take care of their children, like the children could be at risk of abuse or neglect. Child welfare comes in, does an assessment, and sometimes finds the need to file a petition to remove the children. And I help parents get their children back. And sometimes when the parents maybe can't get their children back, relatives might want to have care of the children. So then I work with relatives also to try to get those kids in child welfare placed with, say, an aunt, uncle, grandma, something like that. And then I also do a little bit of family law mediation as well. It
has to be really tough because you're dealing with the youth, and that's a very delicate subject.
Definitely.
So what got you into that profession? Or into your profession?
After college, I went into TV and film, the TV and film industry. Yeah. I grew up in Los Angeles, so it was there, kind of ritzy. Yeah, it was just kind of ritzy. And I started in a mailroom of a very big organization that produced The Sopranos at the time and some other things. After being in that industry for about 9 years and working my way up, I realized that you're as big as your biggest client. And if your client leaves you, which one of my biggest clients did leave me, to go to someone she was pregnant, her new agent was pregnant. So, they had a lot in common, more than I did.
So what were you doing in the TV and film industry?
So I started in a mailroom, just basically delivering packages to actors and actresses and scripts to people on different sets that the company produced. And I worked my way up to be an agent at an agency.
Oh, wow. So you're signing people.
Yes. So I worked with TV and film actors and put them on different TV shows and things like that.
Are you allowed to give names that you might have signed or?
No, there's a lot of confidentiality.
Fair enough.
But if anyone does see MTV's Meet the Barkers, I did a few episodes of that.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
So there's, and I'll cut it really short, but there was this attorney that I knew in LA, and because everything, you fake it till you make it kind of thing. And so the Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the line's really long outside. So he knew the guy in the front. And so he was saying that what he would do is he just got his law degree and he made a deal with him. He goes, hey, and so he took him into the front of the line, got him a seat, and then grabbed his food for him. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, who is this guy that's just getting a seat? And so people thought that he was a big time attorney. Yep. And so he started getting business off of that. But it's
Yeah. But even that, when you think you're on top of the world, one client might leave you and then you're pretty much back to square one. It's not really a place where you can build your business and really expect to stay there. I mean, even the top agents have their clients stolen from the bigger agencies.
So it's a constant time. Like in a lot of business, it's about finding new business, but you're finding ways to keep your business. And
And I wanted to help people. Right around the time I turned 30, I spent days, seriously, 3 or 4 days negotiating who was going to pay for a dog to fly from LAX to Kansas on American Airlines. Yeah. And it's really not that expensive. The actress I represented was making a good salary. The studio was a huge studio. And just to spend that amount of time trying to negotiate who's going to pay for your dog to fly to Kansas, it's just kind of a small issue, or the size of a trailer, things like that. And in dependency, I find it really rewarding because I'm working with parents that might have drug issues, that might be in domestic violence situations, that the parents themselves might have been sexually abused or something like that, or don't have a lot of education. So now they're trying to give their children a good life, but it's harder for them because they don't really have those skills.
Well, yeah, and every win that you get, in a sense, it has to be magnified because it's life-changing.
Right.
So what got you, so you're in your 30s, right? And then you go to law school.
Yep. Yes.
And then law school, you're like, in that profession, you started figuring out that you wanted to be in family law? Is
Well,
that kind of
I
afterwards,
wanted to do two things. I love like trial skills and being in the courtroom, but only for worthwhile issues. Sometimes as an attorney, you have to do trials that you maybe aren't. I kind of call them like maybe dumb trials because it's trials that really your client should try to negotiate or settle. I personally don't advise my clients to go spend $10,000 to fight over $3,000.
Yeah.
I just don't think that that's a worthwhile bargain. But sometimes it seems necessary in family law. But I did want to do trials, and I love to do trials where there's a real issue, like say this child is taken by child welfare and placed in a foster home, but there's aunts and uncles and grandmas that are saying, please place the child with us, place the child with us. And under the law, the child is supposed to be with relatives first.
Yeah.
But for different reasons, that doesn't seem to always occur here in San Diego.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate taking those cases. I find them very worthwhile, and I'm helping people that really need help.
So it's gratifying.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it has to be a little bit different, I guess, from being an agent to actually being a family law attorney now, right?
It's different in certain ways, but it's also similar because you're really advocating for your clients just as you are to get them jobs. I mean, being an agent and manager isn't easy either because you're calling the casting directors, the producers, whoever you can to try to get your clients jobs.
Yeah.
So here you're negotiating with opposing counsel, but then once you get in front of the judge, you're definitely advocating for your client to get this settlement or that settlement.
So you're in your 30s, you have your law degree.
Yep.
And you decided to go on your own, correct? Or did you join?
Well, what I did, so I worked for a judge for a year in Nevada.
Okay.
And it was in a pretty small town, so he did everything. I mean, he did family law, probate, like everything.
Wow.
Things that here in San Diego, we have different judges that do probate, and a different judge will do family law, different judge will do dependency. But it gave me a pretty good focus on everything. And also during that time, I started going to school to get my LLM, which is a Master of Laws in Dispute Resolution at Pepperdine. So I appreciated just the dispute resolution skills, and advocacy is one thing. I think it's really important to have good advocacy skills to be an attorney, but I think it's also important to have good dispute resolution skills to be able to work with others. And that's one thing I really like at Pepperdine. And that's one thing I think with other attorneys and clients, that kind of client control was kind of helped by some of my dispute resolution skills.
Yeah, no, I can. So you studied with him for a year. You got some knowledge base at Pepperdine.
Yes.
Now you've accumulated all this information. And then what's next?
Well, I worked at Juvenile Dependency in Sacramento for about 3 years.
Wow.
Then I was able to get back here to San Diego to do Juvenile Dependency. And I continued to work in Juvenile Dependency until like the summer of 2016 when the company that I was working at lost their government contract. So I knew I'd have to find another job. I started doing some contract work for some family law attorneys and just learning family law. And one thing that seemed open to me is like, why don't you start your own practice? And then you're not at the mercy of other people or the government shutting down or anything like that. And I just started, I guess, building, and people would refer me clients, and then
That'd be a big jump from going on your own. What kind of hurdles have you seen, or?
There are a lot of hurdles. The law school I went to, California Western, has this Access to Law initiative program. So they had some programs for people that wanted to be solo attorneys in marketing, making sure that ethically you're doing things accounting wise that you need to under the California Bar Association. Just a lot of different skills, seminars, workshops. We read some books, stuff like that. And that definitely helped. Some of the obstacles I've seen is, one, you really have to put in the time. And for some people, they really like to, take long weekends and stuff like that. And I think for me, then some of the networking has helped, like going to events with like Lawyers Club or the San Diego County Bar.
You're very involved. I noticed that. Yeah.
So, and I think it's been helpful because you meet people and it's kind of generic networking without just having your name out on a banner or whatever, which is certainly helpful. But sometimes it's also helpful to have like, I know this person.
Is a lot of your business attorney? Is that a lot of your business come from?
It's, I want to say about 40% usually.
Wow. Okay.
So that's definitely helpful.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing. The other thing is one of my biggest challenge was the business aspects because I didn't really like to do them. Yeah. And it was a matter of I would rather call clients and negotiate settlements and prepare for trials and stuff than spend 2 hours going through my bookkeeping and stuff. But you have to spend that time. I do have a bookkeeper now, which has been really helpful. But it's doing the things that you don't want to do and learning how to still do them well and efficiently.
Yeah, no, you have to have that base. It's nice to sell that house or close on that property, but you have to do that base because if you don't do that base, the structure is going to fall.
Right.
And so, no, I definitely know where you're coming from. So was it always attorney to attorney, or did you always have that mindset that was going to be where your business is going to come from, or were you that new mindset?
I wasn't quite sure. I was doing some contract work, and at first that was pretty steady. I had several family law attorneys that would send me work, and then I had one criminal law attorney that would send me work for expungements and things like that that I was able to do just because I had some internships in criminal law when I was in law school. So that's kind of where I started, and then as I got more of my own clients, I had to stop saying no to like just an appearance for just maybe an hours of work or something like that, and just started going after the bigger jobs. Yeah.
Well, and another thing I know, you do a lot of online questionnaires where like you go on the websites, right, and you'll answer people's questions, and you do a lot of that too. So.
Yes, I did. When I first started, I went on this website called Avvo. It's AVVO. It's a website to find attorneys. Yeah. And I would seriously spend over an hour a day, every day, answering questions on child welfare and family law in California. And then I'd get like to the top of this leaderboard, and I just pray I'd get a client or two. And usually I would. Yeah. Now as time is a little more precious, I don't always... I spend maybe more like an hour a week and not really an hour a day. Yeah. Just time wise, but
it's at least a great avenue for newer agents getting the business.
Definitely.
To go on that platform.
Definitely.
So you give out a lot of free information. It seems like you give a lot of free information with the Avvo platform. Yeah. With other attorneys and whatnot. Yeah. Have you always been a person that's thought you do right by people, they'll do right by you, or is it kind of
I guess I've just wanted to help people that are less fortunate than myself. Yeah. With Avvo, you got to kind of be careful about the advice you give. So a lot of the advice is you may want to seek out this, or you may want to seek out that. Yeah. Instead of this is what you should do, and you're okay as far as saying, hey, you might want to look at this, or you might want to seek out information about that before you proceed. Yeah. But I've just wanted to help people less fortunate, and especially with my time in the entertainment industry. I think it's great that there are actors and actresses and producers that have worked really, really hard to get where they are, and now they've got a lot of recognition, and some of them use their influence to help orphanages or homeless dogs or homeless people or lots of different causes. And that's awesome. Just for me, I wanted to have more of a day-to-day job where I was helping people.
So looking back at your history from the agency to jumping into the legal field and to where you are now, if you could talk to your younger self, or maybe talk to a younger attorney getting into the business, what kind of advice would you give yourself or give that attorney?
I would tell myself it's going to be okay. Just be confident and make confident decisions. I think a lot of times, at least for me, I've had hunches about things, but it's been like, should I jump? Should I go? Should I jump? And, looking back, just jump, just take the risk and give it your all instead of just do something halfway or spend a lot of time in like maybe a bad job situation or something like that. You can do what you want to do. You just have to work at it and have a plan and have people that are going to support you. And you'll find people that support you if there are a lot of people in your life that, don't support you.
Do you ever think back if you would have switched over to the attorney field earlier in life than you did then? Well,
I think I still had some lessons to learn in entertainment.
Yeah.
I think that was a valuable time.
What are some of the lessons, if like for the people listening out there, what are some of the lessons?
Well, I worked as an assistant to a big agent for a while, and the assistant was super, super mean, and I should have quit, but I didn't. And there were times I literally went to Starbucks like 3 or 4 times to make sure that I put the right amount of Splenda packets in a vanilla latte, because my boss did not believe me when I said I really put 3 Splenda packets in, which was what I was supposed to do. And sometimes apparently it just didn't taste like the 3 Splendas were in there. And so I'd get sent back to the Starbucks across the street multiple times. And, looking back, it was just ridiculous. But you put up with a lot of stuff when you are not sure if you're good enough, or if you think, oh, wow, this person's amazing. This person is just the best thing on earth. So how can they be wrong? I'm learning something.
No, I totally agree with you. Sometimes it's almost like an abusive relationship. When you're in this job
Definitely.
and you don't want to leave it, and you almost need someone to just shake you and just say, what are you doing? You could be doing so much better.
Yep.
Like I've had that before. I've been in those careers, and I bet you a lot of people listening are in those careers or have had those before.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So no, I can fully understand. So what are some of like the misconceptions that you'll see from people that meet you? Like what are some of like the misconceptions or some of the stuff that they could probably do on their own or do before they see you? Or
the number one misconception seems to be that maybe law school is easy, or that you can just get through three years of law school and just know everything about every single subject. And that's not true. I get a lot of clients that'll tell me my neighbor's mom said that I should have gotten full custody, or, my neighbor's mom said that I'm going to be able to keep this house. But you look at the numbers and you look at things and there's just no way.
Yeah.
And it can sometimes be very difficult to show someone reality when they have these misconceptions that, hey, anyone can know the law.
And I see it too, is an individual might have one incident that something happened, right? And so in their head, they look at every incident correlates to this one right here. So the same results are going to happen.
Right.
And so now they feel like they're experts on it. So when they talk to someone, they go, well, A plus B does equal C. And you're like, whoa, I've done this multiple times. So I know that sometimes it's going to equal C. Sometimes it might equal D.
Right.
Other times it might equal G, so it's just,
Definitely. And then with juvenile dependency, one thing might be, say, someone that's maybe accused of domestic violence. We're all innocent till proven guilty, and juvenile dependency isn't the criminal law system. So that accused person might get 10 letters from friends and family saying, oh, on Wednesday I was at church and I was great. And, on Thursday I took my kids to the beach and they were so happy and we had the best day ever. And it's just, okay, that's great, but that doesn't address the domestic violence incident. Like I definitely think people can be amazing people in like 90% of their life, but then maybe have a dark side that's 5%, and that 5%, unfortunately, in dependency or family law might restrict their time with their children.
Yeah, that's definitely tough. Like I think we can all do something for an extended period of time, but all it takes is that one instant, and that's gonna, especially when you're dealing with kids.
Right, definitely.
That's huge. What do you see with your practice going in the future? Like, what are some of the things that you see is going to happen next? Are you planning to bring on more people on? What are you thinking of doing?
I think at some point I am going to need to bring maybe another attorney full time, and then probably an office assistant more frequently than I have now. I'd really like to get into more of the dispute resolution, things like that. I've have more family law mediations this year than I've ever had before. So that's good, because I think it can really help people with that avenue. And then also just preventive problem solving and systems design. Like, one thing that seems to kind of be a little new to San Diego is businesses calling and saying, hey, you know what, we've got this problem in our business, and we want to design a system to be alerted immediately when it happens. So whether that's like a call center or how people deal with customer complaints at a dog grooming place, things like that. And that's something that I can help with, just that systems.
Oh, wow. So a lot of businesses are now putting call centers into their own business just to take on that customer service, I guess? Or?
Not really. That's just one example of something that might be like needed.
Yeah.
Just so like United Airlines had a problem with animals. A lot of like pets were dying. So they brought on some systems design people to help them design a better system to transport pets and to have different policies and things like that, because they were getting, bad PR, and I'm sure they didn't want pets dying.
You do wrong by one person, maybe 10 people might know. You do right by a person, one person might know.
Right.
Yeah.
So just bringing someone to help design a system that is going to solve problems quickly, or is going to prevent problems from occurring.
No, it makes sense. Well, so if someone's looking for your services, they have a custody issue, a family issue, or maybe there might be a newer agent that just maybe has questions, get your feedback on something, how would they reach you? They
can reach me at 619-77-SOLVE, SOLVE. Okay. I'm also on Twitter and Facebook and
all the platforms.
Instagram, jwolfflaw.com. My website is jwolff2fslaw.com.
And you're part of a lot of women attorney associations too, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, that and just Lawyers Club in San Diego and the San Diego County Bar Association. Well, stuff like that.
Thank you, Julie, for all the good feedback you've given us, all the good insight you've given us. And it's a fun story that you've had, an interesting story that you had, and I think you're going to do great.
Thank you very much. I've appreciated working with you in your business.
Thank you for listening to The Road to Growth, Success of an Entrepreneur. Please like, subscribe, and stay connected. Visit www.vinnySD.com.
Yeah, I created a website.
Hope to see you again next week. Team Vinny SD, signing off.